Hi, in this video I want to show you how to configure SSH so that you can log in on some Unix server without the need to type in each and every time your password. Let me first show you how I can use my SSH configuration for logging into a Unix server called Theon. I just type in SSH for secure shell, then I pass Theon as a parameter, I hit the return key, and that's it. Now, in order to show you step by step how to come up with such a configuration, let's undo this configuration. This will also show you whether configuration will be saved after you're done. It will be located in your home directory under the hidden directory .ssh. So in order to undo this configuration, I just rename this directory .ssh into ssh_old. Now, if I try again to log into Theon as before, I will get an error message that this hostname is not known. And now we can start with this configuration step by step. Now, the first thing I have to do is create a private and public key for SSH, and for that I can use the command ssh-keychain. Now it asks me some questions, for example, where I want to store the keys, and I will just use the default location. And it also asks me whether I want to use a passphrase, and I don't want to use a passphrase because that would mean I have to type in this passphrase each and every time. So I just hit return once and twice. That's it. Now in the directory .ssh I have two files, and this first file here is the private key, so I will not show you that, and this here is the public key. I can show you that, for example, using the command cat.ssh, and that's my public key. Now the next thing I have to do is I have to copy this public key to Theon, to my Unix account on Theon, and I can use for that the command ssh-copy ID. And then I have to specify my username, my login name, then the full domain of Theon, that means theon.mathematik.uni-ulm.de. So now I will get the following question. Do you believe that this computer that answers to this is actually Theon? So it shows me the public key of Theon, with which I can identify this computer. And yes, this is actually the public key of Theon. So I trust that this is actually the real machine. So I type in yes. Then it also asks me for my password. And that's it. Now, I still cannot log in on Theon as before, because the hostname is still not known. But if I now log in with my username at theon.mathematik.uni-ulm.de, I don't have to type in my password anymore. So this is the first big step. In order to complete the configuration so that I just have to type in SSH space Theon, I have to create a file called config in this directory .ssh. So I change into .ssh. So just check that you're now in your home directory, in my case user slane, in the directory .ssh. And now I usually would use Vim in order to create this file, but because Vim is maybe not the easiest editor just to be used out of the box, but very powerful editor, so really worth learning, I will now use I would say almost self-explaining editor, which can be used within a terminal, but you can use whatever editor you want, called Nano, and it should be installed on your Unix machine, I guess. So I call nano together with config, and then I have to type in host Theon, host name in the second line with the full domain theon.mathematik.uni-ulm.de, and in the third line user lane. Now let me briefly explain you what you see here. Here basically I define that Theon is from now on a nickname for the host name theon.mathematik.uni-ulm.de, and together with this nickname I want to log into this Unix server with my username Len. And then I save this, Control O, and quit. Then I go back to my home directory, and SSH Theon now is doing the trick. So that's it.